pretty sure that this wacky mod has made every single nation that exists in 1444 into a formable or releasable tag that does not exist otherwise. We have a Holy Roman Empire right next to Germany, Roman Empire bordering Italy, and England more fractured than an episode of Scarred for you old heads like myself. Chant of the Ancients changes so much about the game that it is really hard to sum it all up in just a few seconds, but rest assured, I will show you plenty of fun stuff in today's video. I am shooting for 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so do me a solid and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video so that you don't miss out on plenty more fun to come. Well, this is certainly one way that you can play EU4. As far as I know, not a single one of these tags is present in 1444 in vanilla. We have a Roman Empire here in southern Italy, Prussia up in Prussia, of course, Al-Andalus in the south with a bunch of Catholic boys up in the north, Persia, Ilkhanate, Rum. We have a Jerusalem next to an Israel, and China is just a mess. You know I gotta point it out when I see a Zulu in the game. Just across from them we have Liberatia on the island here. A lot of people don't know about this pirate tag that can pop out of Madagascar. Very cool. And a couple of other tags over here in Africa, all split up and all brand new. Big shout outs Cabo. All my boys love pink Cabo. In the New World, we also have tags Chile, La Plata, Paraguay, Brazil, all these boys over here. Look at the absolute mess that is going on over here. I am excited. We have some natives and some tags, some countries, some states that are countries, I guess. All are formable or releasable, but not present in 1444 as far as I know. Should be a fun video, but you guys know the only way to find that out is to speed 5 and unpause. Just a few months in and it looks like poor Sapmi already getting gobbled up between Scandinavia, Finland, and Karelia. It looks like my beloved man over here was getting a little too big for their britches, attacked Meath, and they are getting dominated. They're probably going to get annexed, or at least exiled to, you know, the Isle of Man, which makes sense. We have the Turks over here invading Armenia. Looks like Armenia probably gonna lose, sadly. I should also note there is no Holy Roman Empire in this timeline. And funnily enough, the Empire of China is ruled by Ming, who doesn't exist. Qing is in China, not Ming. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out. I assume it won't work out. I assume there just isn't one. Oh, I feel foolish. I can't believe I didn't point out Kalmyk. We have our Buddhist horde over here. Very cool. This is actually vanilla. They spawn via an event sometimes. They pop out. They have this very cool black map color as well. I think it's really nice. Yeah, they pop out via event. I don't really know if it needs to be a specific tag like Russia or whatever, but they do just kind of pop out here. Oh, this is hilarious. We have the Kaiserreich of the Holy Roman Empire right next to the Kingdom of Germany. I bet that would be a bit of a contentious topic. The title of the Kaiserreich going to the HRE rather than Germany. And I totally should have shown this, and I apologize for not doing it, but the great powers here 10 years in are pretty interesting. There is nobody in the world with over 225 development, bar the #1 great power with this Sambal Pur in #2, Rum, Malaya, Vientiane, HRE, Ilkhanate, and Liang in the 8th spot, all within like 30 development of each other, which is nuts. And it looks like Finland, who just annexed a chunk of Sapmi up here, is getting beat up on by Karelia. So that is a thing. And meanwhile, Scandinavia is getting beat up on by Rugen. Okay. A wee bit of tasteful border gore up here between Wales, Northumberland, and Scotland. And Great Britain, who was a one-province minor down here in Kent, is no longer with us. 30 years in, and the mess that is Europe is still very much a mess. Prussia being pushed out of Prussia, Germany migrating a bit north, the Roman Empire migrating a bit north as well, snagging Roma, of all places. Power is consolidating over here in Iberia under a Leon, so let's see if those border frictions end up igniting something big. Northumberland looking to be the major power here on the British Isles, but that other green tag on Ireland is Ireland. West Africa still a bit of a mess, but it does look like some of the tags are starting to be consolidated. This poor Rozwi Empire getting eaten up by the Zulu. And yeah, there's definitely some border changes going on over here. Kalka is pushing well into the Mongol Empire of all places, and Liang is consolidating a lot of the development in China. Zealandia has consolidated much of New Zealand, and the Horn of Africa is an absolute mess. Jerusalem has grown up a bit this way and this way, pushing Israel out of Israel, but Egypt has taken a bit of their land up here. So only time will tell how this goes. Hilariously, Rum came up here and pushed Armenia all the way back to the Caucasus, and now they're getting their just desserts. Yeah, a little bit of time has passed and a lot of things have changed. Somehow the HRE is just gone. They're just reduced to atom. Thanos snapped out of existence. And for that matter, Germany basically is as well. Rugen has decided to choose violence today and has beat back everybody, Scandinavia and people here in northern Germany. And it does appear that Krakow here is also doing the same. Prussia is gone, eaten up by Livonia and Krakow, and Scandinavia was just annexed by Livonia like 2 seconds ago. Northumberland has consolidated and formed England, and Leon continues to consolidate the Spaniards under one banner. Romania invaded Bulgaria and took a lot of development from them, and the border gore over here just continues to blow my mind. Look at this Elkhanate. Little land up here, little land over here, little land down here, little land everywhere. Nepal looking quite juicy. Looks like they might be able to do something. If you guys don't know, Nepal is basically Prussia, only in Asia. And speaking of Prussia, militarized Zulu consolidating much of the land down here, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before they work their way up into Somalia. And how about the boys in Kabu turning Africa pink? Orange Bengal doing pretty good, but aside from that, India is still anybody's game, and it does appear that Liang over here is going to be the next China. They have taken the mandate, though their lack of tributaries is going to probably cost them a bit. And aside from that, the Mongol Empire has conquered back their land from Khalkha and are now pushing westward towards the Urals. And I didn't mention this in the beginning, but the vanilla religious map is pretty similar. They changed a couple of religions to basically match a couple of these things, but these guys over here have all converted the totemist provinces to their true faith. In Africa, it looks roughly the same except for this big Jewish blob over here, which you'll love to see it. And if you have a look over here, it looks like the Crusader states are making it happen, converting the Levant and northern Egypt to Catholicism. Of course, I'm obligated to point out a Moravia that is following the Hussite faith. And the culture map mode is vanilla as far as I know. Checking in here for the 100-year mark, definitely a lot of stuff has changed in 100 years. We have a fully fledged Great Britain formed by Northumberland, and they've even pushed across the channel into Normandy and Brittany. Rugen formed Pomerania, and Swabia is starting to dominate Germany. The Roman Empire hasn't changed much in Italy, but they have gotten their way over into Greece. Liang's still doing pretty good, but then you look to the north and you see a massive Mongol Empire. They even just took some provinces from Liang in a war, so yeah, safe to say that the unguarded nomadic frontier is a thing in this timeline as well. India has definitely consolidated into a few major blobs, so we'll see how those things turn out in time. And I know I mentioned it, but here we go. We've got a Zulu in the Horn of Africa. And Kabu just cannot be stopped, working their way all the way over, bordering the Congo now. Incredible. We don't see a colonial game yet, not that I'm aware of, except for Picardy up here with one province in Newfoundland. The Renaissance is also upon us, of course. It was a little late to spawn, but that's just because there was less Catholic tags in the world because the HRE was consolidated into like specific tags. With a center of reformation here in the Roman Empire, as well as one in Siena for Tuscany, and the third one up here in Würzburg for Swabia. No reformed yet, but I'm sure there will be next time we check in. And the great powers here in 1544 is Swabia in the #1 spot, but it's actually only because Liang hasn't embraced institution. We do have a Krakow in 3rd place with an Ilkhanate in 4th, Great Britain in 5th with Picardy in 6th, Andalusia, and then Jerusalem. Not bad growth though, considering that the #1 great power had 225 development in 1444. In 1619, the east coast of the United States is pretty tan. It's a mixture of Picardian nations as well as Andalusian nations. And sadly, probably not an American nation for long. Finally, it looks like the colonial game is starting to pick up. We have Leon down here in the Caribbean as well as South America. And we've got the British down here in Brazil. Dutch South Africa. I think I've seen this one before. Let's hope that the British don't decide to come. Otherwise, we might see some farmers beating up on some soldiers, right? There is a lot of beautiful stuff to take in. Big Kabu, big Jewish Ethiopia, big Jerusalem, big Ilkhanate, big Rajputana.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Say what you want, but I think Rajputana is like the most beautiful color. I know it's just like a flat brown, kind of purplish. I don't even know. What do you call this color? Either way, this uncolonized province is irritating me as well. Believe me, I understand. But look at this. Oh, perfect. Though surrounded by Ilkhanate and a massive Mongol Empire, we'll see how they manage. The Zulu continue their dominance here in West Africa, all the way up into Arabia. But boys, lads, Krakow ended up forming Poland, who went on to form the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. You love to see it, folks.
Polska Góra.
Iberia still a bit of a Thunderdome. We've got Spain, Catalonia, and Aragon and Navarra now joining the fray. And Sardinia Piedmont with that beautiful toothpaste making their presence known here in northern Italy. Meanwhile, funnily enough, the Roman Empire decided to basically colonize all of Greece, and they're actually at war with a giant Montenegro to push them up in the north. It appears that in this timeline, Kosovo may actually be Rome? Aside from that, a couple of blobs here in Germany, Swabia, Aquileia, actually, Toulouse, Bar, Picardy, Hanover doing okay in the north. But yeah, only time's gonna tell who the majors are in the end. With a little over 200 years left, who are you guys rooting for? Let me know in the comments below. And with a little over 100 years left, we have regional blobs that are certainly getting established, and the borders are not half bad. Africa, for the most part, is Kabu in the east, Zulu in the west, and Jerusalem in the north. Though we do have Leonese East Africa, apparently over here in Madagascar. As a matter of fact, it actually looks like most of the north has been colonized by somebody outside of from the area, like Sardinia, or Two Sicilies, and Toulouse. Hilariously, the Brits went past Gibraltar and actually took Cadiz and Malaga. And yes, even in this timeline, we still have a France. Only it's not really much of a France. It's like a quarter of a France, maybe even less. The Roman Empire is trying to into Byzantine Empire, which is very funny. And the Commonwealth is just doing their thing. Absolutely just beautiful, beautiful borders for an AI Commonwealth. That is, if you ignore the ugly borders over here, like Stockholm. Not that Stockholm's ugly, but the borders here are ugly. We've got Livonians here in Gotland. Very cool hat. I would wear that hat. And now southern Scandinavia is now Hanover. Just like Russia is now Livonia. Beautiful. Now, what is this color? See, this is like a bluish kind of purple tint to it. I don't know. I would call it like a bluish purple. I had a car that was this color. People would always ask me what color it was. I said blue, but I don't know. The poor Ilkhanate is an absolute shell of what they once were, split between massive Jerusalem, Zulu, and Rajputana. And yes, you are seeing this correctly. The Mongol Empire is getting dominated by Livonia at the moment. And I actually almost missed this, but it looks like Rajputana is currently getting a decent amount of occupations over here in the south as well. The Chinese border gore is off the charts with Liang, the Mongol Empire, Dai Viet, and a couple of other small tags, all vying for power in the area. And of course, Siam was formed in 1444 up in here, but yeah, looking pretty good. Good AI Siam borders. Also, Ilkhanid Malaya has a ring to it. British Indonesia. The Dutch East Indies getting a kickstart here. Australia has grown, and it looks like this native tag is actually taken over Zealandia. Or they formed it, one of the two. I don't know if that's possible. Meanwhile, over on the other side of Australia, we have a British colony of Australia. The nation's so nice that they named it twice. Hojo over here fighting back the Dutch. And South America, mostly Leonese with some British and Dutch colonies as well. We also have some Dutch, British, and Leonese in the south here of North America, but the rest, it's very blue. Alaska and Cascadia are just holding still and hoping that nobody notices them. Or Louisiana is getting eaten by Louisiana. And poor Texas was eaten up by the Leonese and the Dutch. Feels bad, man. But how about that? This New Flanders over here has perfect borders. Well, perfect outside of this, whatever the heck this is. This is, whatever. And now we have a top 8 all with over 1,000 development, with Rajputana actually taking the #1 spot, followed by Commonwealth, Great Britain, Leon, Swabia, France, the Roman Empire now in the top 8, with Jerusalem rounding it out. A few interesting changes here to end off the run. Who do you guys think is the #1 great power? I'll give you a second. Big old #1 Rajputana with Commonwealth in #2, but behind by 1,200 development, which is pretty impressive. Leon down there from another 500 development, with Revolutionary Great Britain with that ugly ass purple flag. The Roman Empire in a clean 5th place, with Zulu in 6th, France in 7th, and Livonia in 8th place. Now, funnily enough, a lot of the tags that existed last time we looked still exist. We have a Swabia, we have a Hanover, we have a Toulouse, we have a Sardinia Piedmont, we even have Gascony still. Heck, we've even got a Helray up there. But yeah, they're all shells of what they once were. Leon decided to be Iberia this time around. And of course, we have Great Britain here with parts of Brittany and northern France. Southern France was mostly Sardinia Piedmont with Toulouse and some Gascony mixed in, but Catalonia over there in, you guessed it, Catalonia. Swabia was pushed back into Austria, Switzerland, and southern Germany as a whole. And it looks like Hanover is going to get partitioned in one way or another. The Roman Empire LARP continues for Byzantium. I mean, the Roman Empire. They did make their way up into northern Italy, though, and a bit of northern Africa as well. I have to say, the Commonwealth doesn't look like they grew that much since we last looked, but They still finished very strong. I'm happy for them. Blue Russia got beat back by a couple of strong powers, but they still exist. And the poor boys of Jerusalem just got cut in half by the African powerhouse that is Zulu. Zulu, who also went up and cut Kabu in half. Rip my boys Kabu. But lads, you know who we got in the house? We got the homies in the house. If you haven't done it today, make sure you call up one of the homies and give them some love. Rajputana had a very strong game, taking most of the land in China. But how about this Marathas over here in southern India, as well as most of Indochina? Very impressive. Japan ended up gaining a little bit into Korea, surrounded by Rajputana, surrounded by Livonia in Korea. Yeah, okay. The Mongol Empire, a shell of what they once were, migrated a bit over into Manchuria, and their capital is over here in Sartu. And colonial Australia ended up eating the Aboriginal Australia, as well as a bit of French Australia, which, yeah, I don't know about that one. We have the Leonese Malaccas, the Dutch Malaccas, British Indonesia, and Leonese Malaya right next to Leonese Indonesia. So a lot of colonial gameplay over in this area. And I can't forget about Leonese Malaccas, aka Leonese Los Filipinos. I always love when the AI has perfect borders, like they take all of an entire area. Beautiful. South America, a bit of a mess. We got the Dutch, the British, the Leonese, and down in the south, the Hanoverians, or Hanoverians? How do you say that? I don't know. British Mexico doing pretty good next to British Columbia on the other side, with Dutch Mexico getting gangbanged by the French and I think the Commonwealth. And then you have these guys right here, United Central America, present in 1444 in this mod, and present in 1921 in this mod. France ended up pushing all the way through all of Canada, all of Louisiana for the most part, and pushing Louisiana up into like Arkansas. So that's pretty funny. We have a revolutionary Lipan over here and British Alaska. The religious map mode is a mess, but it is here. The Roman Empire is Protestant, as well as most of Germany. Remember, these guys are just occupied. They're occupied by Catholics. The Church of England made their way over into the New World, but only over here in Alaska by the looks of it. Down in Brazil as well, with some reformed, but mostly Catholic for the most part. Zulu brought the love of feet all the way up into Egypt and into Mesopotamia. Truly some prolific missionaries over there. The Hindi boys of Rajputana managed to maintain India over here, but doesn't look like it converted anything outside of India. And it's Protestant down under with some animist as well. Shinto, of course, still exists over here in Japan. As far as cultures go, we have Novgorodian has expanded all the way over into Latvia. I want to say that Occitan has grown a bit, as has Gascon, pushed Basque back into one province over here. The Albanians have been surrounded by Bulgarians. Truly terrifying. And it appears that Armenians have pushed over here into Azerbaijan, I believe. Oh yeah, look at this Kurdish culture all the way down into Baghdad. Definitely some culture conversions going on over there. I believe that this is different. I believe this is Kholka culture. But the Mongol Empire, of course, was Mongol culture. We have Maori culture down here with English culture over here. And the New World is a bit of a mixed bag. We have Iberian, we have British, and then we also have Dutch. And the same thing in the north, though it's a little bit more varied even. We have American culture over here with English culture, French culture taking up the majority of the continent, but we do also have some Andalusian with some other Iberian cultures around here as well. And of course, we have a couple of native cultures in the area. Nothing surprising there. Well, I think that's a very fun little mod, and I hope you guys did as well. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below if you have a suggestion of something that you would like to see more of in the future, or if you have a mod in mind that you think other people would enjoy to see. If you want early access to these videos, if you support me on Patreon, you would have seen this video like 2 weeks ago, so check that out, linked in the description below. And if you also want to join my Discord, my subreddit, or follow me on my Twitter, those things are all linked in the description as well. But guys, that is all I've got for you for today. I love you, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Till next time, stay chill.